Who am I is a question that we might often ask ourselves through our lives. Biological, social behavior, and personality are a few components that shape who we are and how we describe ourselves and others. Personality is an individual's characteristic pattern of thinking, feeling, and acting. Consistent patterns of behavior can be observed by how we interact with others and influence how people describe our unique characteristics, like being introverted, patient, or distrustful. Thinking patterns shape how we respond to situations, like acting impulsive or planning next steps. We all process emotions in different ways, which can look like being described as an angry person or calm when faced in a difficult situation. In psychology, there are four major perspectives on personality. Psychodynamic theories look at the interactions between conscious and unconscious mind. Humanistic focuses on ways people strive for healthy personal growth. Social cognitive views behavior as influenced by interactions between people's characteristics and what environment they are in. Trait theories explores personality traits like being aggressive, openness, or extroversion by measuring, identifying, and describing those traits through personality inventories or peer reports. Trait theory specifically emphasizes characteristic behavior patterns. Our traits are characteristics that we use to describe ourselves and others. For example, I would describe my characteristics as being calm, organized, kind, helpful, and reserved. Another example would be how I describe my friend Katie. I would say that she's a social butterfly, imaginative, helpful, and eccentric. Of course, our traits can change over time as we grow and have new experiences. I can definitely say that my traits have changed since childhood into my early 20s and now my late 20s.
Personality inventories are longer questionnaires covering a wide range of feelings and behaviors. These are used to assess several traits at once. The classic personality inventory is known as the Minnesota Multifaceted Personality Inventory, or also known as the MMPI. This is the most widely researched and clinically used personality test. It was originally developed to help identify emotional disorders, but this test is now used for many other screening purposes and is now translated to 100 plus languages. Robert McCrae and Paul Costa developed a model personality called the Big Five. They thought personality could be developed and divided into five dimensions: conscientious, agreeableness, neuroticism, openness, and extroversion. Common acronyms for the Big Five are CANOE or OCEAN. These are often used interchangeably to help describe and recall the Big Five. The Big Five is a dimension of personality as an effective way of measuring everybody's personality. Our personality factors are based on a scale of high, middle, or low. Conscientiousness: people usually score higher in this tend to be more organized, very neat, disciplined, and they plan ahead. People usually who score lower on conscientiousness tend to procrastinate more. They dislike rules, structures. They're more disorganized, careless, and impulsive. The second on the list of the big five is agreeableness. This personality dimension includes attributes such as trust, kindness, and affection. People who score higher in this tend to be more cooperative, soft hearted, sympathetic, and forgiving. People who scored lower on agreeableness tend to be more competitive, uncooperative, rude, selfless, and ruthless. Neuroticism. Neuroticism is the third on the list of Big Five. Neuroticism is a trait characterized by moods and emotional stability. People who usually score higher in this tend to experience more mood swings. They are more insecure, anxious. They deal with a lot of anger and they worry a lot. People who usually score lower in this tend to be more emotionally stable, calm, self assured, and relaxed. The fourth on the Big Five list is openness. This trait features characteristics such as imagination. People who usually score higher in this tend to be more adventurous and creative. They have a broad range of interests and they have a preference for variety. They're more creative. People who usually score lower on openness tend to struggle with abstract thinking. They're more comfortable with routine, traditions. They're more uncreative and more down to earth people. The last on the list of the big five is extroversion. Extroversion is characterized by talkativeness, assertiveness, and how social you are. People who usually score higher in this tend to be more extroverted, and they tend to gain energy in social situations. They like social situations. They are more open to social activities. They're more friendly, They enjoy meeting new people. People who usually score lower on extroversion are called introverts. They tend to be more reserved, have less energy to go out in public, social settings. They are more drained by social interaction. They are more reserved and quiet. The Big Five also works in many jobs and careers. In a retail store, someone who's extroverted will most likely be in a front worker, working as a customer service, maybe interacting with people, whereas someone who's more introverted, lower on the extroverted scale, would rather be in the back, stocking with less interaction of humans. Um, we can look at twin adoption studies to find whether traits are genetic or learned. Twins are very similar in personality, even though they were raised by different people, even though they might be raised by different people. Some commonly asked questions about the Big Five are: how stable are these traits? Well, personality continues to develop and change through late childhood and adolescence. Up to the age of 40, we show signs of maturity principles in which we become more conscientious, agreeable, and less neurotic. The second most common question asked is: how heritable are these traits? Traits could be heritable from parents. There might be similar traits between parents, child, and this usually runs from 40 through 50% of our personality for each dimension. The third most common question is: do these traits reflect differing brain structures? And yes, the size of a person's brain parts correlate with several big five factors. Those who score higher on conscientiousness tend to have a larger frontal lobe that aids in controlling behavior. People who um, People whose brains are more wired tend to experience higher levels of stress. And how well do traits apply to various cultures? Well, traits do not apply to a particular culture. In fact, features of personality traits are common to all human groups.